really world class. Even I got hooked.
Championships and trophies, nangangalawang yan.
Ang kalaban ko lagi is myself. Yung isang decision na yun, pag mali yun, malaking effect na yun eh.
This should be taken by some kind of network. It should be a show.
Never ako nagkaroon ng hater, ng bully, as in like, nagsabi na hindi ka makakarating, na may na-achieve anything in life.
This show brought out the best in what you do.
Walang nagka-guide sa akin that time. Siguro wala ako sa volleyball.
Kailangan mo dyan tapang, for me Hindi ka pwedeng mahihayin.
At least masabi ko nag-guess ako dito.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the For the Love of the Game. Ako po si Ken Pangilinan, joined here by the Dinolicious Dinoli and the one-arm Mamba Miss Kat Tan. So sana okay lang kayo, guys. Spending again Wednesday evening here dito sa For the Love of the Game. 52nd episode na po tayo. Of course, we have our special guest for tonight. So tutok lang kayo. She will join us in just a bit. So Kat?
Yeah, guys, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and in Kumu right now. So, guys, we encourage you to like and subscribe and share our tonight's episode on your page. And for those who haven't followed us yet, we are again on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Kumu. It's at For the Love of the Game PH, and on Twitter, it's at FTLOTGPH. And you can also catch the audio version of our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. So just type in FTLOTG in the search box to find us there. Right.
Ayan, so wag na nating patagalin pa. Please, eto na. Let's welcome our special guest for tonight. So, nung episode number 41, nakasama namin yung one half ng host ng Off the Record. Ngayon, makakasama naman natin yung other half ng napakagandang show na yan. So, of course, she has been in the sports industry for almost 2 decades. So, kung kayo pinanganak ng mga late 80s, early 90s, I'm sure nakikita nyo sa TV screens, being a courtside reporter for NCAA, sa PBA, and syempre naging DJ rin siya. She was a reporter sa Cannes Film Festival back in 2010. And was chosen as a reporter nung NBA All-Star Weekend noong 2007. So yon, before we bring her in, please watch this trailer.
Chicago Bulls star Derrick Rose is in Manila for a promotional tour. Volleyball analyst Ivy Remulla joins us tonight in the studio to tell us about the possibilities of potential. Was there any worry whatsoever that the lineup is the future?
Cesca Litton, my partner. For you, what was the most defining moment for broadcasting career?
Sportscasting, so getting to play football with David Beckham.
Guys, please welcome the one and only Miss Cesca Litton Calao.
Hi, guys! What an intro! Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, yung impactful dun yung 20 years no?
Oo nga, naramdaman ko kayo parang,
20 years. Iba. Parang medyo may hugot si Ken dun nung 20
I know,
years.
parang if you guys were born in the ganyan, I was like, wow!
Of course, Cesca, thank you so much for being here on our show. Maraming salamat for this opportunity. Baka you wanna take this opportunity, di ba? Kaming tatlo, nabanggit namin kanina that we grew up watching you. Kumbaga, dun sa pag-grow mo sa career, baka you want to shout out those people as well that are tuning in and watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Kumu.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me once again on For the Love of the Game. And thank you to everyone joining us tonight. I have to say hi to Phil Zorelia already in the comments. Hello, Phil. And please, if you guys are not busy or looking for stuff to do on this Wednesday night, just come on down.
Ayan. I think si Phil commented on when I was promoting the calendar for this month. Sabi niya, idol ko yan si Cesca Litton. Yan. So,
Thanks,
Phil,
Phil.
I think he's in the States now. So,
nice.
Yun. And you just came back from the States. Yun.
Yeah, I am still battling jet lag. So disclaimer, if I say something stupid, it's not me, it's the jet lag. So,
Yun.
Ayun, maybe you could share like, kamusta ba ang US? Kasi, yeah, pandemic eh. How's the situation there compared to here?
well, there obviously is a lot more, but again, I don't know what it's like now. I was gone for almost 4 months, so I honestly don't know what it's like outside just yet. To be honest, I'm a little terrified, but I've always been a little paranoid in the sense that even now that I'm vaccinated, because I have hypothyroidism. So I have a pre-existing condition that obviously I'm just not all that comfortable being out and about. So as long as I'm indoors, I guess.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And speaking of which, we're still in the pandemic na wala kang comment kanina. And when Migs, who's your partner in Off the Record, interviewed you during Women's Month, you mentioned that the pandemic really hit sports really hard. Now, wherein you haven't been able to cover games for exactly, mag 1.5 na nga tayo, and there's not much to look forward to with what's going on right now. Yeah. Personally, how are you coping up with the situation, knowing that you're actually part of the sports industry? And what's the silver lining for you?
The silver lining for me, I'll start with that. Like, I'm so happy for my colleagues that, the local leagues, like the PBA, was able to start up bubbles. So people actually got to go back to work. A lot of my colleagues, so many people I know shifted working online. Like Migs and I ended up doing a show online together, which I am thoroughly enjoying, because I would not have had the freedom to travel if I had to go to the studio all the time as well. But in terms of getting hit by the pandemic, every single industry that, you really felt if you were essential or not. And obviously sports took one of the biggest hits because every activity was shelved.
Yes.
Athletes were, basically living their lives in questioning whether or not they would be able to set foot on the court again. But thankfully, in the past few months, we've seen some activity, and hopefully that keeps going on already, because I really do believe, like, sports is, to me, sports is still essential. It changes
Why is that?
lives. Sports changes lives.
In what way, Cesca? Like, if you were to elaborate on that.
Few things unite a nation like sports can.
Like Tokyo Olympics.
Like the Tokyo Olympics. Or when Gilas beat Korea in 2013, it's so hard to describe the kind of energy surging through the crowd, knowing that every single person in there with you was cheering for the same team. Or just being able to change someone's life in the sense that an athlete gets a scholarship and is able to get an education in a different situation. What if the family couldn't afford that kind of education?
Right, scholarship.
So many things that obviously it's just unfortunate that, for example, Migs and I had an episode where we guested high school players, and it's just so different for them in the sense that these are kids who can't show off their skills in an attempt to get a scholarship, in an attempt to get into a team. Just the tryouts are so different. It's just the environment of showing college coaches what you can do on the court in pressure situations. That's an entirely different facet of the game that coaches will have a hard time discerning. Like, what if he's double teamed at this point of the game? What if ganyan? Like, how do we know if he has the instincts? How do we? Like, it's just so different now.
Right.
I guess we're all just figuring out how to adjust and how to get by.
Right. And ikaw personally, Cesca, like, how are you coping with this pandemic? Kasi sabi mo nga medyo
Oh boy.
mabigat siya for you eh. And sabi mo nga din that this is the perfect time to find yourself. Like,
so I have been covering sports a certain way for as long as I can remember. I'm going on 20 years next year. And it's all,
congratulations.
as you guys mentioned earlier. But it was always, either on the court, holding a microphone, or behind a desk as an anchor, but this was the first time that I was it was always in the back of my head. Like, maybe I should start something myself, or maybe I should start something outside of a network or whatever. And I never got around to it because there was always that safety net. There was always an offer. There was always a job, which it was my comfort zone. And I wasn't sure if I would be able to handle the responsibility of putting up a show myself. There was always this, like, the back of my head, like, kaya mo ba yan? Sure ka ba? Are you willing to take that kind of responsibility on? Blah, blah, blah. Will you be able to commit to it and all of that? And I realized when I started doing Off the Record with Migs, and I will always be grateful to Migs for welcoming me to Off the Record, because it just gave me the kind of confidence that I needed, especially after questioning myself if I would ever be able to cover a game again, or if I would ever be able to talk about sports again. Because if you do something for as long as I have been doing this, your identity kind of embraces it already, because it's something that I've worked for my entire life. So just being able to do a show like Off the Record, and being able to say that tayo nagtayo niyan, tayo nagbuo niyan, and we make the decisions every single week in which direction we want the show to go, and we get the stories that are worth, that need to be told, and it's just rewarding. And I hope that we continue to tell these stories, because they're beautiful stories.
right.
Yeah. So, Chess, of course, you pride yourself in telling the athlete stories. Pero this time, story mo naman yung malaman na.
Guys, hindi ako sanay na ako yung sumasagot ng question.
Chess, before itanong ni Ken, sisihin mo si Migs kasi ikaw yung ni-recommend, ikaw yung in-endorse niya sa amin eh. So, Migs, alam mo na. Pero thank you of course kay Migs, na guest na namin yung episode.
Thank you, because I think, we will really get a lot of things and learnings from Cesca. Not only of course, you being a veteran in the industry, but of course yung knowledge mo and yung wisdom mo as a person. We talked behind the scenes, and I really do admire your wisdom. I just wanna just to make you feel na you are very my sense naman, Chess, so don't worry.
So much, but I don't feel very wise right now, guys.
Galing sa
It's okay.
Sabi nga,
Go, Ken.
sabi nga ni Gab, ayan, solar pa lang, inabutan ko
Oh
na si
my
Cesca.
goodness gracious.
Yeah. So Solar
Okay.
Sports Desk with
So,
Gino Rufino.
yeah.
And then
So-
Solar pa lang inabutan ko si Cesca, and baka
Oh,
niece eh. I'm not
the
the daughter.
grand niece.
Oo, of Johnny
So,
Litton. Yeah.
Uncle Johnny is the brother of my grandfather.
Mm.
And obviously legendary host, and now my sister is the legendary host. So
Yeah. Isa Litton, yeah.
yes. So Solar, hi Gab. Gab is also a very loyal viewer of Off the
Yes.
Record. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching tonight's interview with For the Love of the Game also. So Solar, okay, so this is funny. I was in both versions of Sports Desk. So the first version of Sports Desk. So Sports Desk 1.0 was with Solar Sports, and this was in the Antipolo studio, and this was with Vito Lazatin, Magu Marjon, Rima
Wow.
Chanko. That was the first version. And
Right.
then the second version, it was brought back with Gino as the original anchor for Sports Desk 2.0.
Yeah.
And this was in 2013. And Gino asked me to come on board also. So, so andun ako. Sports Desk 1.0 and Sports Desk 2.0.
Point.
I was there.
Grabe.
Yeah. So, Ches, syempre, you've been in the sports industry. Well, being a sports reporter for almost 2 decades. But prior to that, talaga bang yung sports was really imbibed in you? Na did you have like aspirations of being an athlete, ganyan?
I have always been into some type of sport one way or another. Honestly, when I was a kid, my parents put me in ballet, and I am not graceful. So I shifted from ballet to gymnastics.
Right.
And I remember being this kid, and at that time it was Bea Lucero for Philippine gymnastics.
Yeah,
I don't know if so Bea had all these commercials, and but aside from that, my dad had a tape of, oh my god, I'm really gonna age myself. I don't know if you've heard of Nadia Comaneci. So she is a
I know
Romanian
her.
gymnast. She's the first gymnast to score a perfect 10 in the Olympics. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So her life story was made into like a movie, and since I was my dad got the tape, and I watched that tape over and over and over and over and over again, and I was just dead set on becoming a gymnast. So when I finally got enrolled in gymnastics, I was also thankfully in CSA. CSA facilities are amazing. I don't know if you guys have been to our campus, but when it comes to extracurriculars, kompleto kami.
Na-promote. Enroll na sa CSA.
Yung school.
Enroll na kayo, guys. Wala pa naman kaming sponsor na school, Chess. Okay lang. You can promote it. So, CSA, enroll kayo. Colegio de San Agustin, di ba? To be specific.
Pwede rin ang Isabel.
Colegio San Agustin and
Oh.
yeah, but Zobel is
Mga
also
Sofyan.
Zobel is also
Oh.
complete.
Promote na rin natin. Hindi, okay lang. Go with this.
Yung mga alma mater natin, guys. But anyway, so from gymnastics, I got into cheerleading, which seemed like a logical extension eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
But aside from gymnastics, I was also in the Girl Scouts because I love the outdoors. I love camping. I loved hiking, that sort of thing. I was always busy doing something. Then by the time I reached high school, I ended up in the football varsity. So yeah, high school football varsity and cheerleading. College, I played football. When I got to UNT, there was no football team. There used to be one, but all the players graduated, and I think no one really put together a team after that. So thankfully, my football varsity team captain also went to the same school. And I was asking her, I was like, how are we gonna play? Ano to? Ano gagawin natin sa buhay natin? So we actually went to the admin and asked about like putting together a football team, and they said na you guys can form one, but you won't be called a varsity just yet. You'll be a football club, and then after maybe 2 or 3 years, you can be officially called a varsity. So we, during my freshman year, we went around like classroom to classroom with a clipboard. Who wants to sign up for the football club? But yeah, unfortunately, by the time it was considered a varsity already, I had already stopped playing because I was already a courtside reporter for college basketball, and I had to give up something. I know.
Right.
So
Yeah,
sad.
but before I let you ask question, Dino, shoutout ko lang yung mother-in-law ko kasi yun, my wife, she's name is Nadia. So yun galing yun kay Nadia Comeneci, really. True story.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pero nag-gymnast ba si Nudge? Parang
Hindi yata eh.
Ani. Yun, napatanong
That's
lang.
so cool.
Yeah. Pero like chess, syempre you were involved with sports then, and I think you shared, I don't know if it was during Father's Day or your dad's birthday. You were very thankful of him that he was very supportive of you. Yung parang yung ginusto mo tapos naka-ready na yung pag-uwi mo naka-ready na yung equipment ng mga gagamitin mo for the sports, 'di ba? And you were you wanna share something about that, yung impact nung dad mo when it comes to you having that love. Was he a sports person din kaya ganun din siya, or talagang supportive lang talaga siya sa'yo?
My dad was a champion swimmer. He was a diver. He was an archer. All those things. Like he taught me like so sorry. Like when I was a kid, I'd tell my dad, like, Papa, I joined the Girl Scouts. I'd come home from school, and on my bed there would be like a sleeping bag, a tent, binoculars, a compass, as in like even a Swiss knife. Yung mga ganon, na kumpleto gamit ko. Or like I would come home and be like, I'd tell him like, Papa, I want to try ice skating.
Right.
Come home, there'd be a pair of ice skates on my bed, which I'm sorry to say, nasayang lang because it's not for me. Again, I am not graceful, guys. I'm really not graceful. Okay, I tried. Umikot ako, nahulog ako, tumayo ako, nahulog uli ako.
Ayaw na.
Not for me. At least I tried.
Yeah. Tama naman.
But other than that, my dad taught me how to fish. All the outdoorsy stuff, that's my dad. Like he got me a compound bow. He got like all like I get cabin fever. Well, I mean, obviously now that there's a pandemic, it's a little harder than usual. But being outdoors is so important to me because that's where I feel at peace the most. Like I don't think it just breathing fresh air is so underrated. It's so different being outside, away from the pollution, away from the noise, away from the chaos. And for me, like sitting on the grass on some campsite somewhere and just alam mo, iba siya.
Right.
And
so
I haven't done that in forever, so
yeah. Pero at least you were able to do it when you were like when you were in the States.
I almost cried. So
seryoso?
Oh my gosh. We went to Yosemite, and the entrance to Yosemite, you'll hear the stream below you. So as soon as I could hear it, I rolled the window down. And then alam mo yung nag-inhale, nag-deep breath lang ako. Tapos pagka-exhale, oh my God.
Grabe, no? Kasi talagang the pandemic has, blocked us from...
It messes with you. It's so hard to remember who you are at a time when everything in your life is so limited. Like, you really have to find a way to push through everything and remember who you are.
Right,
Because grabe.
Grabe. I know. Yeah, and speaking of, your dad, what did you get from him? Kasi, unfortunately, at a very young age of 10, you lost, di ba, your mom to cancer.
Yeah.
And how was it like, being raised by your dad? And at the same time, meron ka bang nakuha kahit papano from your mom that you still carry with yourself as of, with your career, with you being a family person now, di ba, having your own family? What did you get from your parents?
I'm gonna start with my dad. Oh my God. Pag ako umiyak, guys.
Okay lang. Pag umiyak ka, iyak din ako, sasabayan. Pero emotional din kasi ako. Yeah.
My dad is I think I learned to appreciate everything my dad did at a later age, because when you're young, you don't understand why. Because my dad's business would be farms. Like he exports fruits and all of that. So obviously he would leave Manila to check on the farms and all of that. So I would always be like, where's my dad? Whatever. It was my lola, it was my mom's mom who would stay with us. But it was only when I was older, when I started making my own money, that I realized, how do you raise 4 children on your own? And I grew up living a comfortable life. I went to good schools. I was able to travel. I had the hardest time providing for myself. just earning my own money, saving my own money, and figuring out what to do with it. I was already how do you do this for 4 other people and not complain about it and make sure basta, like, parents are my dad, and the fact that my dad is one of the kindest people ever. And it's not just, I'm not just saying this because he's my dad. I'm saying this because other people have told me this. Friends of my dad, or parents of my friends who grew up and knew my dad from when they were younger. They always speak highly of my dad. Kasi sobrang bait talaga niya. And sometimes na parang sa dami ng kalokohan ko, parang he never ever like flipped out at me or whatever. He was always so patient. No, never.
Hindi kayo nagkaroon ng parang yung parang clash, yung about, grabe.
My dad he has never raised his voice at me. Which is just, I don't know where he got it. I don't know how he's like that, because I get mad.
Yeah.
So like and my dad, obviously, since my mom passed away when I was 10, he's still the biggest influence in my life, because I've lived with it. I've known him my entire life. My mom was more the disciplinarian. So for my mom, it was my mom naman, I got my theater side from her. So that's one of my biggest frustrations. I love musical theater, but musical theater does not love me. So I will just do straight plays.
Pwede naman dito, gusto mo.
Yeah.
Na, guys. And my mom was a force to be reckoned with. She had such a strong personality. Like, she and my dad balanced each other out perfectly. But my mom would enter a room and the room would light up. People gravitated towards her naturally because she was such a bright presence. I don't think I got that from her. Sana naman ako yun, pero parang hindi. So,
Mukha naman, sis.
but yeah, she was also very. Oh my gosh, she was so protective. She was very. So she was very involved when I was in grade school. Yung mga intrams, the grade school intramurals,
Yeah.
and then or like my
Stage mom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Listen, so for intramurals or whatever, there would be like a weekend a Saturday in CSA, and then kailangan gumawa ng cheer for the section or whatever, and then my mom would be. And it was like
Siya yung magko-coach.
I was in section K, and the name of the cheer, or you had to get like a flower or something with the same letter or whatever. And I was in section K, and it's like, what flower starts with the letter K? And my mom, I don't know who found out that there's a flower called kampupot. I don't.
Ibang klase.
I don't know, but like my mom was like upfront, like, hey guys, this is gonna be a cheer, okay? Kami mga kampupot. I was like, whoa.
Grabe.
She had so much energy. Or like the one mother-daughter camping trip that she was able to join me. I think this was the 4th grade or the 3rd grade. So we had to go on a short hike and pick up like pieces that we could turn into a poster or whatever. My mom like picked up all these random things, and I couldn't understand what she was doing with it. And then when it came to the presentation, biglang boom! Parang professional artwork na.
Right.
It's so extra.
Correct. Tama.
Yeah.
Ibang klase. Pero yun, Cesca, do you think, parang at a very young age, kasi sabi mo nga your dad was going to the farm, di ba? Kasi yun nga yung business. And I don't think it's in, dito sa metro, but he has to go outside.
Yeah.
Were you forced to be independent na at a very young age? Parang napilitan ka to parang be independent on your own, how you do things, and it carried over to your career, di ba?
To this day, I'm still fiercely independent. And I think that was probably, but my dad also made sure of that. My dad made sure that we all knew how to take care of ourselves. My dad made sure that it was more of, I think I was brave enough to do the stupid things because I knew that no matter what, my dad would be there. If that makes sense.
Oh my. My thoughts on that, Chess, is you were saying your dad parang didn't scold you or didn't like flipped on you for those kinds of mistakes. Do you think parang it's good then for a person that's growing up kasi you allow the person to make decisions and face the consequences? Tama ba? Or
yeah. That was the one thing that basically, if you're gonna do something, then at least be ready to face the consequences if there are any.
Yeah.
So
that was your dad.
Yeah, it's how do I describe my dad? I feel like God gave me the kind of parent that I really needed because I react differently to harsh words. I react differently to I think we all have certain mannerisms that we are averse to.
Yeah.
Na a person can reach you better or you are more open to listening to someone if that person understands kung ano yung kiliti mo.
Yeah.
Diba?
Correct.
And my dad, I think, as I grew up, I mean, obviously, I went through this phase where I thought I knew everything. I feel like teenagers really do think that at one point or another.
Tama.
Diba? Yung mga,
Yes.
I'm an expert in life.
Bakit niyo pinagsasabihan? Yan.
Diba? We all go through that phase.
Yes.
But with my dad, I don't think it was more of eventually ako na yung hiyang-hiya. Kasi sobrang bait niya.
Ibang klase
So,
Ibang klase. Grabe.
ibang parang kakaiba yung well, you
Yeah,
know, like all parents are different from but
Yeah.
I guess yeah, yun yung what molded Cheska right
Yeah.
today, like yung
Mm.
experience niya with her father, with their families. But yun nga, sabi nga ni Cheska, we all know that Cheska, yeah, being a host and being in front of a camera runs in your family. And yung na-mention mo din na, one of your influences, of course, your dad, your mom. But were they also the ones who pushed you, or like who played a huge part in you having a career in hosting and broadcasting?
That was honestly a happy accident in the sense that the plan was there was no plan.
well, maybe because it was an accident. I mean, it's happy accident for you. So
because I obviously come from a family of hosts.
Yeah.
Uncle Johnny being the first,
Sister
and
mo.
then my
Sister mo.
sister.
Yeah.
The difference is my sister, like, she did do sports for a very brief period of time.
Right.
But she transitioned mainly to events hosting, and she's the best. With me, someone from ABS Sports actually called me and asked. Oh no, someone from ABS called me and asked if I wanted to audition as a courtside reporter.
When you were in college, this was
when
when
I was
you were
in,
in college.
this was my going on my sophomore year.
Yeah.
In college. And I just said, nah, sure, why not? So I went to the audition, and I actually just told Mike Cortez this story because I was with him in Vegas. I saw Mike Cortez in Vegas, and I told him, I was like, I never got to tell you the story. So when I went to ABS to audition for Courtside, at the time they were like, the Courtside reporters come from the UAAP schools mismo. So since you're not from a UAAP school, we're gonna make you audition for the NCAA.
Yeah.
But like, do you watch college basketball? And at the time, most of my friends from CSA ended up going to DLSU. So I was like, yeah, I watched the UAAP, ganyan. I was like, okay, so who's your favorite team?
Lasal.
No disrespect meant to other teams. It was just at that time, all I kept hearing from my friends was Lasal, Green Archers, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, they were like, so what's your favorite team? I was like, Lasal. And they were like, who's your favorite player? Mike Cortez. And they were like, okay, so just pretend that it's game 3, and then Mike Cortez hit a buzzer beater, so just and he got player of the game, best player, so just interview him na lang, kunyari ganyan. So I asked probably not great questions. Just your standard, so how did you feel?
Right.
But after like a few weeks went by, and I was like, I probably didn't get it. And then I got another phone call and said, hey, can you come to ABS? Ganyan, congrats. You're gonna be doing courtside for San Sebastian. So may meeting lang yung mga courtside reporters, ganyan. So I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. But, yeah. I had a crash course because at that time, obviously, whatever I knew from basketball was from watching my brother play in the summer league in our village, or because I was a football person.
Yeah, football game.
I was a
Major
football girl.
adjustment yun.
And then I had one of my best friends from CSA also, who was obsessed with basketball, Rhea. I actually just lost her in March this year. Oh boy. she passed away in March, and she would back then she would be on the phone with me, and I'd be running through like basketball terms, like asking her tama ba to, blah blah blah, and
Right.
yeah. So I owe a lot to her as well.
Grabe. Was that the time Leon Nahorda played for San Sebastian?
Yes. So
The deadly lefty. Yeah.
Leon Horda, Christian Coronel, Jamal Fad. The center back then was Pep Moore. I have no idea where he is now. He might be back in the States. I'm not sure. But yeah, and then the coach was Turo Valenzuela. Like that was...
Right. Yeah. Na-curious ako, Cesca, kasi parang when was the time, since you talked about your early beginnings as sa career mo, which is sports broadcasting, like when did you and you love what you do because you love telling stories, di ba? You like hearing stories. When did you realize na parang, uy, at the start pa lang ba nung nag-broadcasting ka na, ay, love ko na talaga to? Or it was there, anong point yun na nasabi mo, like, I want to take this seriously, I love this career, and I'm gonna do it for the longest possible time that I can?
Immediately. No joke.
First game? First game?
First game, and just after getting through the nerves, and it was so frustrating because I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I had fun doing it, but I also knew that sobrang kulang ako. I actually hated watching myself because to this day,
that's the hardest part, seeing yourself.
And at that time, I didn't know how to modulate my voice. Kailan lang ba ako natuto mag-modulate? Because if that video you guys showed, that short clip you guys showed with me, like, oh my gosh. If you watch that video, and you can tell when I'm nervous because my voice goes really high. So,
okay.
But obviously, since then, I have kind of learned to, bring it down a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I never really saw myself doing anything else after that first game.
After that,
I mean, clearly, I'm still here. So.
Oo nga grabe. Na-curious ako, Ches, parang why do you love yung telling stories of athletes? Kasi parang maybe there's a deeper reason to it, like parang
that's a good question. I think just in general, because I love reading. I not necessarily like nonfiction or whatever. Just I love reading in general. I grew up. There's a reason I had such terrible eyesight because I would read. My dad, in our library, he had the OG versions of Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys.
Classics.
So when I was a kid, and syempre, I was supposed to be sleeping first because there would be school the next day. So I would be hiding in my room with like a really dim light,
right,
just to read a book. And I went through that collection, those collections, like nothing. It just, oh my gosh. So I was always into stories. I was always into reading. So the fact that I could get those stories myself, the fact that I could help tell those stories myself, I think that just appealed to me in general.
Right. Was there a story that stuck out over the course of 20 years na parang di mo makalimutan hanggang ngayon? Ay, kasi idol mo si Dwayne Wade. Di ba si Dwayne Wade, alam mo naman yan yung idol mo Tsaka si David Beckham, like, wala yung parang hanggang ngayon di mo makalimutan because
a story, like, sorry,
like parang something
like,
something memorable, like that stood out the most.
Most recently, or one of the more recent ones, would be a very short report I did on CC Rondina when she was still in the PSL. I asked her because CC Rondina is so energetic. Like people consider her undersized for her position, but when she jumps so high. Her energy is unparalleled and everything. And whenever she's on the court, you can see how much she enjoys the game, how much she loves the game. And I remember asking her, I was like, Cece, like, what makes you love volleyball so much? Kasi that has to come from somewhere. All
Right.
that energy, all that joy when you're on the court.
Right.
And she said it was number one, it was because of volleyball that I think her sibling was also able to finish school.
Wow.
It was because of volleyball that her parents were reunited. It was because of
Wow.
yeah. So like, I was not expecting that kind of answer. I wasn't expecting, but I told you, see, sports changes lives.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, all the more the essential, yung kumbaga, you consider sports as an essential.
Essential, yes.
Yeah. Chess, you mentioned, actually sa OTR mo yata na-mention to, like one of the big things, lalo being a courtside reporter, kapalan talaga ng buka. And I think
Yan, magandang topic yan, magandang topic.
like, was it innate ba sa'yo yun na makapal yung buka mo? How did you develop that?
I had to learn. I had to learn. Honestly, I have to credit ABS for helping me with that. It was more of it was when I did entertainment news. Na I had to, yun na nga, natuto akong because with ABS, when I did SNN as their correspondent, I was sent to press conferences. I was sent to movie premieres. I was sent to all these showbiz events. And yung nahihiya ako because I felt like yung baka ayaw mo sagutin yung tanong ko or whatever.
Baka hindi ka pansinin.
Oh, baka hindi ako kausap. Diba? Yung parang, but it was the people that I worked with from my FDs to my segment producers to as in talagang lahat sila, hindi, sige lang, kayo mo yun.
Game na ba? Sige, go.
Yeah. So parang, and then I remember one of the SPs, like one day, yung parang, they were editing my interview. And I could hear the segment producer, grabe, ang tapang na ni Cesca magtanong. Thanks, guys.
Grabe, no?
Actually, dyan din papasok yung relationship mo with those people.
Oo nga eh. Parang anong, like, ako curious ako, Ches, kasi, I mean, you've been in the industry for so long, like 20 years na. And marami dyan mga interviewees na hindi ganun ka-approachable, di ba? Agree ka dyan. Kasi nabanggit din naman ni Mig sa amin yun eh.
Of course.
Like, anong style mo? Like, how do you approach them? Kasi it's similar to being an interview. It's similar to business. Because if you wanna create business, you have to sell, di ba? So you have to approach. So parang ikaw, anong style mo to cover interviews? Especially, di ba? May mga trust issues yung iba, di ba? Siyempre, they have to trust the person that they're interviewing. So, na para pag lumabas yung stated, kung ano yung sinabi nila, yun yung lalabas nila, di ba? So what's your style around that?
I think,
how do you build yun?
I think that also comes with the quality of work that you put out. Because if, let's say, there are instances where you misquote someone, it's hard, but honestly, it's hard to misquote someone when you're doing interviews live or on, on this kind of medium. I think it's more common to misquote if, let's say, print, because there's a transfer, diba? So I guess parang as long as you make them feel that, like what you guys did with me prior to the interview starting, like you're in a safe space, you control where this interview is going. If you're uncomfortable with the topic, then we don't have to talk about it. It's also, but obviously, like hard news is different. That's an entirely different arena. I am just speaking for, like interviews like this, where you're trying to get to know the person and all that. And that's mostly what I've been doing anyway, especially with Off the Record.
Yeah.
But how did I reach that? Teka
Oo,
lang.
kasi
That's a good question.
Chess, yung pinagdadaanan naming tatlo, pinagdaanan mo na 20 years ago, di ba? Kasi 20 years ka na. So, how did you, parang work your way up? Parang how were you able to establish, ano yung trademark ng isang Cesca Litton that makes you stand out? Kasi ang dami nyo di ba? You're competing with a lot of people that wants to interview these people. So, parang ano yung style ng,
I honestly, ano yung trademark? I really don't know. Wow, okay.
I think jet lag is kicking in.
I know. Medyo blanco na ako eh.
Oo.
I honestly,
habang you're thinking about it, like kami, like personally for us, we approached a lot of people, but once they respond to us, we want to build that certain level of relationship. Ang approach, like ang style namin was never to treat them as an interview lang. Ang approach ko is these are people that we wanna establish relationship with down the road when it comes to sports. Hindi lang siya like papasok siya at labas na, hindi na ganun.
Yeah,
we wanna keep in touch with
the sports community is so small that if you can help each other out, then by all means go for it. I was never a fan of yung siraan or whatever. That's that says more about you than whoever it is na sinisiraan mo, to be honest.
Correct.
But again, I have been very fortunate to be able to work with some really great people. I love seeing more and more people get into sports broadcasting. Again, maybe it's a little small in the Philippines as compared to like a massive market in the US or whatever. But all the more, diba? Like the more we should help it grow.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. I agree. When it comes to that, you have to, approach namin, I think I share the same sentiments na, especially ngayon, di ba, wala tayong sports and the only way for us is to support and help one another, and especially during these times. And I'm just curious, Cesca, like around, parang how do you, what's your, kasi syempre you've been around 20 years. Like, what's your advice for people? Because I think nabanggit mo yung, hindi, yung parang, kasi yung advice na binigay niya was learn how to write, di ba? Because yun yung, and at the same time, kapala ng mukha, like, meron ka pa bang ibang things that for those who want to aspire to be someone successful around sports broadcasting and sports hosting?
I mean, for one, you really have to love sports. You
Right.
have to be genuinely interested in sports. To this day, I'm still learning so much about every single sport out there. Like, I can't call myself an expert on any particular sport. It's just really, staying updated. You have to know what's going on. That it's so much easier now because of social media. You follow reputable news sites, you follow the athletes themselves, but also just, I think the writing thing is really the most important part for me.
Right.
Because you can't just rely on writers all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you work on a network and you guys have writers, great, good for you. Your job's so much easier.
Yeah,
but
correct.
Even then, people will know if it's not you. Diba?
It's not your words. It's not your words.
Over time, you develop certain mannerisms. You develop a certain cadence. You develop a certain rhythm where people know that you're talking as you and not using someone else's words.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. Actually, dyan ako bilib sa'yo, Cheska, eh. Kasi, if you don't have the writers, the producers, you'll do all the work. Like,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Parang meron ba dumating sa point na parang pigang-piga ka na, you have to, like, wala na akong maisip. Like, how do you,
Yeah.
like, parang, saan mo nakukuha yung mga creative juices mo, ganyan?
Oh boy. Kasi sometimes wala ka ng choice eh.
Oo nga, parang just to add to what Ken said, like how do you, kasi title nga natin, keep going, di ba? How were you able to manage to, push yourself? I mean, you moved up that you moved up the ranks from courtside, nag-anchor ka. Like, how do you, bring it in every single day when you, as a...
I feel like I talked to Stan about this, that probably off air. There will really be horrible days. There will really be days that you just don't want to do the work. There will be days na you don't feel like giving it your all. And that's fine. We are human beings. We're not supposed to be on 24/7, especially in these current conditions.
Exactly.
Like, if you are burnt out, please allow yourself some time to rest. If you're trying to figure out where your life is gonna be, like, tomorrow, 2 days from now, or whatever, like, please do something to, like, I don't know if it's reading a book, writing a short essay, or playing an instrument, or just zoning out and listening to music, anything. Because the second you feel like yourself again, that's when you're going to start putting out really good work.
Right.
But also, form the right habits. Like, for example, like Kat makes me feel so inadequate when I watch her stories, because Kat has made it a habit to keep her fitness a priority. And you see her working on herself every single time. That's
Right.
so important, because she formed the right habits and she's sticking to those habits. Do I wish I could say that I have the same habits, but I really don't.
Right.
You can do it in any other way. I mean, maybe workout may not be it for you, but you can always find ways to make
But I
yourself
want it
better.
to be from you.
From what I'm hearing, Cheska, is like, find things to do that puts you in your element,
Yes.
so that you don't get burned out or drained. Especially ngayon, sobrang prone yan kasi, di ba, lockdown tayo, you're not allowed to go out, which is one of the things that, gives you an opportunity to be in your element, is to experience nature, to breathe fresh air, di ba? So,
things that makes you comfortable, that makes you yourself at the most, not like I mean, I do use my platform to inspire others to at least get yourself out of the bed and work out. But if it's not for you or anyone else out there, it's okay. It's not wrong, not doing it. I mean, you have your own ways. But as we understand, you and I, we are, as women in the field of sports, and it's a being in a cutthroat industry. For you, what does it mean being a woman in sports?
I think I hate bringing this up, but just trying to get people to take me seriously. I think more recent, not recently. I'm not sure when this happened, like last year or something. A social media page shared a photo of actually almost 2 years ago, a social media page, which I shall not name anymore, shared a photo of me with some like 2 or 3 athletes, and basically used it to insinuate or like as a comparison to a lewd video. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then to me, it was like I have been doing this for at that time I had been doing this for 18 years. And who are you to degrade my work by just using a screenshot of that interview and comparing it to or insinuating na parang ganito sa video na to. It's just, but I mean, that speaks so much about how some men view women in sports.
Right.
Which is just like, I have worked almost all my life into building my career, only to have it disrespected by some jerk who watches too much porn or something.
Right.
That was just so insulting. And well, nung minessage ko naman, I called out the page. Whoever responded to me apologized, and they took down the picture. But even then, I mean, parang the damage has already been done.
Right.
So, yeah, it has always been like that, right? I mean, I don't know now, syempre, obviously, syempre nag-improve naman na yung ano natin, yung view ng people towards women in sports. You know, we've accomplished a lot. Of course, we've made...
Excuse me, women in sports. Heidelin Diaz, Marjeline Vidal, Nesty Petesio. Like, stop right there, guys.
Exactly. I mean, like, you know, parang kumbaga madali lang din kasi talaga magkaroon ng notion ng ibang tao when mas madali nila i-target ang mga babae. Just ano naman, syempre talagang merong inequality when it comes to that. But I mean, for you, ayoko na i-mention pero kasi being in this industry for more than 2 decades or for 2 decades. almost 2 decades.
Next year, 20 years next year.
I mean, how would you feel, or how do you overcome those things, and how do you make yourself relevant to the people?
I don't think it was ever about being relevant. I always felt like as long as I could tell the stories properly, as long as I could find the stories and tell the stories, then I would be happy. Whatever the byproducts are, then I guess great. Like, even if, let's say, I didn't have off the record right now, I would still be interested in the stories. I would still be reading articles. I would still be watching interviews. One way or another, I would still be involved somehow.
Right. Chess, may bumabati sa'yo, baka familiar name. Hi guys, I love your show on Kumu. Please send my regards to my dear friend Cesca _JP Soriano.
JP! Okay, wait. So JP is one of my fellow Courtside reporters from the NCAA.
Yeah.
So that's how we met. He was the Courtside reporter of Letran, and then he eventually became a reporter for or news reporter for GMA. JP has always like, hi.
Yeah, I think siya rin yung nag-post nung nung sa Instagram mo, yung
So it was San Sebastian versus Letran in the finals. My second year in the NCAA. The first year, it was San Sebastian versus Benilde. And then I remember Letran beat Baste. And then JP was inviting us courtside reporters, like, because the other courtside reporters were there also. And he was like, tara, sama tayo sa victory party, ganyan-ganyan. And I felt, yung nahihiya pa ako kasi I felt like, hey guys, I cover the other team. Hello.
Right.
Nakisama sa party. Sorry, guys.
Ayan yun. Bumabate, JP Soriano. Yan.
Yeah, hi, Jips. Wait, speaking of saying hi, I have to say hi to okay, si Andre John. Ako na nagbasa ng comments, di ba? Andre John, shout out sa tropa ko na Pogi. Candy, Pangilinan. Diba?
Ayos, ha?
Andre also says, shout out, Boss Dino. Sorry, guys.
Ayan, ito nagbabati sa'yo, Ches. Si Arsenic. Hello po, Ate Cesca.
Hi, Arsenic.
Hello, FTLTG fam. He's been tuning in with us since, nung last year niya sa high school, nag-tune in na sa
Bilis
amin.
nga, no? College na.
Ngayon, college na siya. College na siya ngayon.
Hi, Arsenic.
Grabe yan. Die hard namin yan. And of course, si Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
Sobrang, since episode 32 yan. Good evening, of course, FTLOTG.
Teacher yata yan si Gabby. Hello, Gabby.
Ito may question si Julian Pero I think, nasagot na naman ni Cesca kasi talagang sports talaga nag-start si Cesca.
Yeah.
Tapos, napunta lang siya sa showbiz.
Hi, that's Julian! Hi,
Supporter niyo din yan. Supporter niyo din yan sa OTR, di ba?
No, I met Julian at a PBA game.
PBA.
Yeah, Julian would watch the games and he would
Naging nasa
always
PBA
say hi.
yan.
He's a para-athlete ng Philippines.
Yes! Hi,
Grabe.
Julian! Sige, I will answer Julian's question because it's Julian.
Yes. VIP.
What made you shift from showbiz to be, the great sportscaster? Tanggalin naman natin yung great, guys.
You are, though. I mean, come on.
Humility.
Humility, but, just... Okay.
Yeah, ako, teka lang. No, but I really did start out in sports and then as a college courtside reporter, and then I think I shifted early on into entertainment when I became an MTV VJ. But even while I was an MTV VJ, I was still a courtside reporter, and then I was an anchor for a sports desk na nga. I had the opportunity to do entertainment news for ABS-CBN from 2009 to 2013. Again, I learned so much back then. I mentioned earlier na kaya ako natuto magtanong ng mga like asking the hard questions or whatever.
Right.
That was because of my stint in ABS, so I will always be grateful. But sports will for me, I don't think I can ever veer away from sports talaga.
Oo nga eh.
That's
Parang heart and soul mo na yan eh. Parang you see to it despite of your other commitments, you make sure na meron kang ginagawa around sports. Diba?
Yeah.
Na-curious ako, Cesca, like, this is something that I'm always curious about. Mga naging guests namin, what is something that you live by? A quote or a motto that you live by as a person?
If there is anything that I have learned, it's part of it is already in the title, keep going. But I have to extend that. It's just keep going. It gets better.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
And
it gets better.
Yeah. And moving forward, how would it, look like personally for a Cesca Litton, yung just keep going?
Right now, I can see Migs and I continuing off the record. Obviously it's hard to say how long it'll go on, but I would like for it to keep going on.
Yeah.
It's just I just want to keep telling the stories, guys. I really do genuinely enjoy talking to people. I really do genuinely enjoy learning about people. Even just like people watching in general, like I don't have to talk that much. Like you can put me in a sidewalk cafe. I'll just sit there with my cup of coffee and watch people walk by, and it's just
Wow.
yeah.
People watching.
I'm just genuinely interested in people.
Wow. And yun nga, you mentioned OTR. Keep it up, Cesca. Been following you and Migs sa OTR, and super really appreciate all of your discussions with Migs and
Thank
your
you,
listeners.
Gab. Yes, we really appreciate seeing you in the comments also and always watching OTR. So thank you.
Grabe. Yan, si Julian saka si Gab, they're very supportive when it comes to
Yes.
yung sports discussions, di ba? Ibang klase yun.
Yun nga, parang like, bilib ako dahil, I mean, parang they have all the time in the world to, lahat ng sports, ata,
Diba?
nakatutok talaga sila, no? I mean,
It's hard
the
enough.
passion.
It's hard enough being updated on all the games.
Exactly. Yun nga, and not just in one particular sports, in every sports talaga, like possible. Like, yung ganong klaseng passion ba, chess, like, I know, again, you have to love what you do to be here for a very long time. But also, I'm also just curious, like, was there any sacrifices you have done or you gave up before for you to be here? Like, I've read somewhere kasi that women more than men adjust their careers for family life. So I just want to know if what's your opinion on that? And for you, was it difficult juggling your work and having having a family life, having your duties to your family?
Even before I got married, it was really time that I sacrificed. Time with my family, time with my dad. I missed several family trips. I missed some birthdays or whatever because I was busy trying to make a career for myself.
Right.
Do I regret it? Sometimes I do, in the sense that obviously time is the only thing that you cannot take back. But do I regret being where I am now? Absolutely not. Like, I can say for certain that I worked really hard to get to where I am. I have so many highlights and probably even more lowlights that I look back on and think I could have done a much better job. I could have done this, I could have done that. That was not good. I didn't take this seriously, or I just completely messed this up. But again, you're only as good as your last game. Maybe for an athlete, I don't know.
Tama.
But
Ganun,
for
I
me,
think.
diba? Because especially, for example, that hit me even more during the pandemic because the PSL was mid-conference. Actually, no, the PSL conference just started. I think I covered 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 game days, and then they cut the conference. And I haven't been able to cover a game since then. I haven't done courtside for anything since then.
1.5 year na. 1.5
Yeah.
year na.
And I have to, ilang beses kong inisip, did I even do a decent job
On your
in my
last game.
Yeah. Was that something that I would be happy knowing that if that's the last game I ever covered, would I be satisfied leaving a courtside career on that note? I feel like I didn't, to be honest with you. I feel like, diba, parang, yun na yun? Is that it? Is that the last time I'm ever gonna do this?
Tama.
So, yeah, I mean, may ganun talaga tayo, na parang well, it's totally unexpected. But, I think that the learnings from that is that in everything that we do, we have to make sure that we give 110% of ourselves in it and to be in it every time. But as you've mentioned nga, yun yung mga meron ka mga questions na ganun. But I also want to hear, like, what would be your message to those people? I don't know if you are how much you are aware that you have inspired a lot of people, and also
Lumaki yung mata
and
ni...
also lumaki yung mata. I mean, you do. I mean, you do, and also like who also aspire to be like you. So and given the situation that we are in right now, what message would you like to tell those people, and well, especially those who are struggling in their careers in the sports industry today? So yeah.
First, I find it really hard. I really don't see myself as an inspiration. Like, I feel like I have so many struggles that I need to figure out in my life as well.
Tama.
Wait lang.
But
I don't know if you are
but
I think mas okay yung ano doon na, you know, you just don't know who you are touching lives, because yung sinasabi mo, you like talking to people, and you are one of those people na I think sinasabi ko to na without people like you, there will be no story to tell, right? There will be no one to send the message out there to people. So you're one way. You're yun yung ano dun eh. Parang malaking tool. You're the bridge. You know, you connect to people, and that for me, I think is very influential and very inspiring. So yeah, I just wanna tell you that and I'm not just saying it to make you feel better, or you know, just to, because I'm just stating a fact, and it's true. I just want to tell you that. Yeah.
Thank you.
siguro
Yeah.
pero legit I second what Kat said. And I think, I guess what she was trying to parang bring up about is I don't, kumbaga marami tayo sa sports industry, me, you, Ken, and Kat. We went through a lot because yun nga, yung sports natin, di natin alam kailan babalik eh. I guess my question in support of what Kat asked you was, what would your message be for people that are in the same industry as us, that was hit hard, that was that had a job prior to the pandemic, and it was particularly a sports career, and all of us are here now, all of us in sports. What would you want to share parang as a message for them? Kasi marami for sure want to hear that.
It gets better. It really does get better. Obviously, like, things are just so dark and dreary, and we've been dealing with the same things over and over and over again. It's this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's been the same cycle for the past year and a half. But every now and then there's like a bright light, there's like a bright spot that comes out. We have the leagues starting up. We have athlete, like, I feel like the Olympics was just such a huge boost for everyone, not just athletes, but
correct,
sports media. Nabuhayan tayong lahat eh.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's, take those moments and just use it as fuel to get you to the next bright spot, because we're gonna go through all the darkness again at some point.
Yeah.
But just remember what it's about. Remember what we do and why we do it, what we do it for.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have to, like, I really have, like, I don't want to try and sound like an expert, because I still, again, I feel like I'm still learning.
You're still figuring out things, yeah.
Yeah, and I learned so much from the people that I've worked with. I have so much respect for fellow everyone in sports media who also found different avenues while sports wasn't going on yet. So many people started podcasts, so many people started live streams. Not just that, there are people who, tried out new ventures, maybe outside of sports as well. But everyone, looked for ways to keep going. And that says a lot about the kind of people that we're with, because we didn't just give up. We didn't
Correct.
just roll over and say na yoko na sa life. Well, sometimes sinasabi naman natin yun. Pero
Yes. Sinasabi ko rin yun.
Term lang.
But I always, like, when I have these conversations with my friends, not just people in sports media, just friends of mine who obviously go through the struggles as well, like the doubts, the questions, and all of that, like trying to figure out where to go from here. It's not just in our industry. It's not just in sports. It's everywhere. And I had to tell myself this as well. This was honestly something that I had to keep telling myself. Like, it's okay. It's okay to feel the emotions. It's okay to wallow. It's okay to sulk. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. Feel it. Feel everything you need to feel. Release it. Let it out. Do whatever it is you need to do. You want to disappear? Go disappear. You wanna just hide in your room, cry or whatever, scream, go ahead. You wanna pray for hours on end, go right ahead. Go do whatever it is you need to do. Just come back to the real world, because the real world is so much better with you in it. Trust me.
Grabe. And sabi nga ni JP Soriano, one of the most generous, kind, and fabulous sports and TV hosts. Ayan di na kami ni Kat nagsabi niya na. Baka kasi sabihin ng di ba? Oo, galing na kay JP Soriano. So thanks JP for that comment.
Guys, sobrang bait niya ni JP, promise.
Oo nga sobrang
bait niyan.
Isipin mo, I think yun din yung beauty ng sports di ba? Parang apart from uniting a country, a nation, you get to meet like-minded people as well, di ba? Parang na yung friendship, it will last a lifetime. Diba? Parang
like, I'm so grateful that I see, like, these people that I worked with, I'm still friends with. Like, I worked with JP, in 2002?
Tagal na.
2003?
Grabe.
Like, that's great. Like, that's insane. And like, we're still in each other's lives. Like, we're still supporting whatever the other person is doing. And that's beautiful to me. Like, I love that we're all still finding,
exactly,
finding ways to be happy for other people. Like, even if life necessarily isn't that great on your own end, but just being able to support others and not tear them down.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
And that's what the Philippines needs the most right now, is really supporting one another and helping one another during these tough times. Chess, here in For the Love, we actually have a segment that we call Bet on Yourself. We actually allow our guests an opportunity to declare something that you want to achieve that you haven't achieved yet. And just like your partner Migs, he declares that he will be, because he's been calling NCAA games. So he declared during his episode with us that he will call a UAAP game down the road. And,
I
and be
believe
the
that.
head coach of De La Salle Zobel High School basketball. Juniors. He declared both of those. So for you, Chess, what would that be for you?
Oh boy. So it has to be personal, diba?
Anything preferably sports, but if there's something that you para
prefer
magandang balikan sa episode na to, na I made it, I did it, I made it happen.
Okay, wait. So I have. Okay, fine. This is kind of a challenge to myself also. I am gonna get back into a fitness routine and be inspired by Kat's videos.
Ayun!
Okay?
Ayun tayo.
So basically, I have to hold myself accountable kasi sinabi ko dito.
Sinabi dito po si Kat. Kat,
Check on you.
Kat, tawagan mo. Oh, Chess.
Can you let me get over the jet lag
Ilang
first
days?
though? Kasi
Okay. Kat, bigla na lang tatawag si Kat, Chess, ilang days ka nag-workout? Ilang days ka nag-workout this week? Anong routine ginawa mo? Nag-push-ups ka ba? Nag-sit-up ka ba? Ayan. So yan only here, 'di ba, nag-declare si Cesca. And I think that we're excited for that, Ches, kasi alam kong you're still figuring out things for yourself, but looking forward seeing you on TV down the road. Oh, excited pa rin kami, 'di ba? And of course, this is also a perfect opportunity, Cheska, to actually promote something that you've been advocating, and it's actually World Vision, di ba?
Yes.
World Vision, and you're actually a donor.
Yes.
Maybe you can share that to our viewers and those that will be watching the replay, what it is why are you advocating for World Vision, and yon.
So, World Vision Philippines, you get to sponsor a child. You get to sponsor a child to get that child an education as well. So, for example, I started sponsoring a child in World Vision, I think back in 2013 pa yata, 2014-ish. And for about 700 something pesos a month, I basically just linked it to my credit card. So every month I get charged like 700 plus. And that kid gets to go to school. The kid gets school supplies and everything. And I think it was just last month or a couple of months ago, backtrack. I actually got to meet my sponsored child. World Vision flew me to Antique to meet my sponsored child. And I remember because I cry over everything, guys.
Tearjerker ka rin pala.
Yeah, super. Oh my gosh, I'm so iyakin. But the other World Vision kids, they actually nag-choreograph dance pa sila. And at that time, uso yung the loop bands thing, what do you call that? The rubber bands na ginagawang bracelets or whatever. So, I can't remember what it's called.
Parang
something, yung loops. Yes, the neon ones. Yeah. Okay. So, I remember they were so into that. They gave me bracelets and stuff, and then they actually toured me around. Aside from the education, kasi they also provide other means of, like, for example, they had like a chicken farm or but my main thing is the education. So you guys can check out World Vision Philippines. And you can sponsor a child. Just a couple of months ago, I got a private message from my sponsored child. She found me on Instagram. And she said she just wanted, parang she was like, I just wanted to say thank you kasi nakagraduate na ako. Parang iyak na ako bigla, di ba?
Grabe.
Yeah, parang she was saying thank you for the school supplies, and she was saying thank you kasi she was just she was about to graduate na ganyan. So education is a big deal for me. So if you guys want to change a life, also if you guys want to help out a child,
World Vision Philippines,
please do take the time to look at World Vision Philippines and see what else they're up to, guys.
And I think yung nakalagay dito, 750 per month.
There you
if
go.
I'm not,
yeah,
750 per month. And of course,
na kasi sa credit card ko.
Matik na, binabayad na lang yung bills. Also, Ches, I think you mentioned that you want to advocate supporting Filipino athletes. So anything you want to share around that, advocacy, especially during these times, dami nawala na scholarships, dami nawala ng trabaho.
Just so many athletes, again, like just the high school athletes, but we've seen what our athletes can do with minimal support. Imagine what they could accomplish if it's all out. Right now, I believe we have our figure skaters in Nebelhorn in Germany. So I think so Michael is not participating this time around, but we have Adrian Celestino and we have Sofia Frank, I believe. And we all, for men's and women's figure skating. And then we have Julian Macaraeg, who is a speed skater. His qualifiers. So, it's Sofia and Adrian are competing. This is considered an Olympic qualifier.
Yeah.
Julian's Olympic qualifiers will be, I think, next month. like in October.
Okay.
So if you guys want to check out what our national athletes, our Filipino figure skaters are up to, you can follow Philippine Skating Union, PHSU, on Facebook as well.
Right.
Because I mean, obviously Michael Martinez is the most recognizable name, but you know, we have so many up and coming skaters as well. Adrian was in the 2019 SEA Games. That's actually how I met him. Sophia is new. I think she's 15 years old.
Wow.
So yeah.
Right.
So if you guys are still riding the Filipino wave in sports, please support them.
How can we support parang Chess? Kasi maraming saying dapat sinusupport yung Philippine. Like as someone that, you know, is into sports, how can we actually support yung Filipino athletes natin?
Build awareness.
Yeah.
That's what platforms like ours
Okay. Right. Apart from the financial, 'di ba? Kasi that's what they're clamoring, 'di ba?
'Di ba? You get the financial support when people know what's going on.
Okay. Correct.
So,
okay. Tama.
So thank you for, of course, having this kind of a platform as well.
Right. And I think you guys guested yung mga magko-compete sa Olympic qualifiers this month and next month.
Yes.
So yun, I think it's giving light. And at the same time, syempre, we cannot do it alone, 'di ba, Chess? I mean, it has to come from a lot of people, yung support, yung work, yung kahit yung mga simple messages, I think it would mean a lot, just like what that sponsored child did for you, na minessage ka lang niya na pinagraduate mo siya, 'di ba? So ayun, Cesca, thank you so much for this opportunity to have you here. Ito, may mga comments lang tayo from Josephine Miravales, mother-in-law ni Ken. Yan, sabi niya,
hi!
Sports will always be relevant, COVID or no COVID. The pandemic is just a pause, a timeout. We were in the midst of the pandemic when Heidelin won, yet we all rejoiced.
Yes.
And of course, from John Cheng, who's been tuning in with us since episode 4. Sorry, na-late po na sobra. Kakatapos lang pong gumawa ng mga homework. Sabi nga ni Cesca, important yung education. Diba? Sabi ni Cesca. Mag-aaral ka na mabuti.
Building the right habits. Tama yung priority.
Tama. Tsaka na kami. Hindi na kayo mag-aral muna kayo. Diba? Kung may... diba? So yun, Cesca, thank you so much for this opportunity to have you here. Ken, you wanna start off yung natin? Salamat kay Cesca.
Before I go to that, ayun nga yung mom-in-law ko. Ayun, just in case she just tuned in. So si Cesca po is a big fan po of Nadia Comaneci din. A 5-time. Yan, kasi dyan talaga pinangalan yung wife ko si
That's
Nadia.
so awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, ayun, Cesca, thank you so much. Sobrang na-appreciate kita kasi, yun, really, marami kang fans like me. Kasi, parang, alam mo yun, parang dati kasi, of course, we're all guilty of this. Siyempre, pag manood ka, if you watch a courtside reporter do their thing, syempre, the first thing that comes to mind is, syempre, ganda tignan sa TV. But when I learned about the ins and outs of the industry, sobrang ma-appreciate nyo yung mga ginagawa nila. Kasi it's not easy. Sobrang stressful ng environment. Imagine, di ba, you have like 30 seconds to a minute to do a report of so many things inside what's going on sa court. Imagine mo yung mga emotions going in, like for example, like kung may freak accident sa court, how will you report that ng maayos na paraan, di ba? Like, you have to appreciate yan nga, si Cesca doing it. Hindi ko na sasabihin ilang taon, a significant amount of time.
Nakgasgas ka na eh, dami na natin.
Yun na nga, hindi pa ako na nga. Ayun, so yun lang, nakakatuwa lang. Ches, yun, thank you so much. Hopefully nag-enjoy ka dito For the Love of the Game, and promote ko na rin, she also has an online show with isa naming naging guest, si Mix Bustos, called Off the Record. So abangan nyo po yan, guys. Tune in kayo. So yun, thank you, Ches.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Ayan, Kat.
Yeah, for me, just of course, definitely it's really an honor to be in the same stream with Cesca. Like, we may not be obviously obviously gusto natin na, you know, ma-meet ang isa't isa personally, but soon, hopefully, when all when things get better,
That would be great.
yeah, that would be
Workout
great.
tayo.
Yeah,
Ayun!
that would be,
Yan tayo eh.
that's the best. Yeah. Pero
Yan.
again, it's really an honor to be with you here tonight, being with us, spending your Wednesday night. Kahit medyo may jet lag ka pa, we truly appreciate your time
Yeah,
and
super.
your effort, your presence, being here with us. And I just wanna say again, you may not be aware of it, but it's okay na you are touching lives. Hindi mo lang alam. Gaya nga nung sabi mo, yung world vision, yung mga you are helping you're helping other people build their lives to to have a better future. So I just want to tell you that and make you feel na you are really really someone to look up to, and being in the industry for a long time, and who will always be relevant and significant in the industry. It's an honor to meet you and be with you here tonight. So thank you so much, Jessica.
Yang na si Cesca. Ako ay just, hindi na kita papasalamatan, Cesca. Papasalamat na lang ako sa partner mo kay Migs for pushing you to be here. Kasi alam ko naman, you know, you're going, I mean, just like me and, you know, si Katsik, and we all have things that we're going through right now. But, you know, just having you here is, you know, sobrang refreshing. And I think if there's one thing that the pandemic taught me is to appreciate sports more. Kasi kinuha na siya from us. And alam mo, pagbalik ng sports, pag nag-courtside reporter ka, nako, manunod ako, sabi, hindi ko cheer yung players, cheer ko, Cesca, go! Report ka, go, Cesca! Ganon. Kasi parang sa akin, dun ko na-appreciate, grabe, it really, the pandemic took away something so precious to me na parang na-take for granted ko. Kaya lahat ng guest ko, kung athlete man yan, coach yan, or courtside reporter, anchor, supportahan ko yan, pupuntahan ko sa games. Like, player yan, manonood ako ng game ng women's basketball or men's basketball. Pag si Cesca yan, go Cesca! Nag-cheer dun sa, habang nagre-report.
I just wanna add lang, lastly, what makes Cesca different or unique from everyone else is, ngayon ko lang din talaga na nakita, her humility.
Yun.
That's very, I just wanna, again, talaga, kasi diba, we've said a lot of things to her, and but, you know, may pangalan na siya dito, and tayong tatlo, we're still making a name in in sports, but looking at her tonight.
Thank you sobra, Cesca.
Being like that, you know, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I truly admire you.
Nasabi na namin yung piece namin, Ches. For you, you want to thank, you know, this opportunity then for you to thank people and before, you know, we let you go. But thank you so much. Yeah.
First, thank you, Ken, Kat, Dino. Thank you so much for allowing me, you know, a space on your platform. I of all people know that choosing people to take up space on a platform that you built yourself, it takes certain characteristics. So thank you for deeming me worthy. And of course, thank you to everyone who joined us on the show tonight, on whichever platform you guys are watching on. Thank you to everyone who continues to support me. It's still a little insane to me that I get people like, even like Julian is here also,
and
Gab, just people who regularly
JP
tune in. JP, like, diba, parang really, thank you, because again, the time matters so much. It's the one thing you cannot take back. So the fact that you guys chose to spend your time with me, that means so much to me. You have no idea. Thank you so much to again, like, everyone.
Grabe. Yeah. Grabe, ito.
No words.
Si Philip from Kumu, go Cesca. And then, I don't know how to pronounce this. Sabi niya, love you always. Iba nagsabi. I don't know how to pronounce. Tokero yung apelido pero sa Kumu siya. So sabi niya, love you always, Cesca.
Hello to everyone on Kumu. I'm so sorry, hindi ko nabasa yung comments.
Yeah. Ayun, Cesca, we just can't wait to see you back on the court and rooting for you and Migs. Kasi alam ko, passion din yun ni Migs covering games, telling stories, and alam ko it might be so uncertain right now, but keep going. Just keep going. Yun nga, message natin di ba? So, Ches, maraming salamat for this opportunity. Hopefully, talagang magkita-kita tayo because bumalik na yung sports noon. Di ba? Nag-workout na kay ni Kat. Pero parang habang wala ka pang kino-cover, kunwari, nag-start pa lang yung game, nag-workout kay ni Kat doon sa dugout, tapos paglabas mo, doon ka lang magko-cover ng games. Yun lang. Suggestion ko lang naman yun. Pre-game ritual ni Jessica, nag-workout na siya with Kat, di ba? So, ayun. Jess, thank you so much for this time. Alam kong, yung jet lag still creeps in from time to time.
Please remember my disclaimer. If I said something stupid, it's not me, it's a jet lag.
No, wala naman. Sobrang super thankful and learning a lot. Learned a lot from you tonight. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Cesca. Have a good night. See you soon.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
There you have it, guys. Ayan, Cesca Litton Calao on our 52nd episode. So, ayan, maraming salamat sa mga nanood sa amin live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kumu, yung mga nagpadala ng gifts, yung mga nag-send out ng comments, ng shoutouts. Maraming salamat sa inyo, guys. So, yun. Sama-sama tayo. Next episode na naman. Sa October na tayo magkita-kita. October 6, featuring softball legend Cesca Altomonte. So,
magka-back-to-back Cesca tayo.
Back-to-back. Saka, yun, bago tayo umalis, syempre, shoutout din sa co-host natin. Walang iba kundi si Miss Kat Tan. Malapit na mag-birthday on Friday.
Ayan,
so, may reveal ko yung age mo? Hindi na siguro, no?
Wag na.
Ilan taon na ba si Kat pagdating ng Friday? So, yun yung mga magandang i-comment. Saka, wala na.
Thank you.
Yun na.
Thank you, guys. Pero belated sa'yo, Ken. Belated sa'yo.
Belated. September 11.
Pero thank you, guys. Thank you.
Ayun, so that does it for tonight on behalf of my co-host, the Dinolicious Dinoli and the one-arm Mamba Miss Kat Tan. Ako si Ken Pangilian saying so long, stay safe, and see you on the next episode of For the Love of the Game. Good night, guys.
Peace out.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.